Silverstone this weekend is the venue for the opening round of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. The cars are making their way round onto the grid. It's a later start to the championship than is often the case, because the traditional opener at Monza has for this year been parked, and the calendar, instead of running purely with Blancpain endurance events, will do some alongside the World Challenge Europe sprint events as well. So we go from Silverstone with endurance to Misano and Zandvoort with sprint, Spa and the Nürburgring with endurance, and then it will end at Jerez, which is where the Lamborghini World Final will be in October of this season. David Addison trackside, cars making their way round onto the grid based on what was set as a qualifying effort in the first session of the two that were this morning. You can have a shared car if you wish, you can drive on your own if you wish, but if it's a shared car, it's one driver, one session, and you start the race for which you have qualified. And there is the car of Josef Zaruba, the Czech driver, a man that is new to the championship this season, but could be one to watch actually, because he's always been pretty decent in things like radicals and Formula Renault. Has also done a little bit of GT4 racing, so Josef Zaruba is there on the grid, ready to go. That car lining up on the outside of the front row of the grid. Drivers having got to the grid, getting out of the cars, just stretching their legs a little bit, getting a bit of air in the cars as well. And that is a shared entry. It's one of the double driver entries, 66 being run by the GP group for the Czechs, Josef Zaruba and Jakub Knoll. So it will be Zaruba that goes first. Jakub Knoll will do the second stint. Second stint in car 44 will be done by Kiko Galbiati. Vito Postiglione will start, and Kiko Galbiati is on the grid with our reporter Dakota Jane.
Kiko, another fantastic grid of Lamborghini. I know your car's not quite here yet, but your first pole at Silverstone. How excited are you to be watching this race?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this pole position. I know that Vito will do the first part of the race really good, and I have only to maintain maybe the position, and of course I want to win this race.
Is your teammate ready?
Yeah, of course.
And any problems so far?
No, I don't think so.
Great, have a great race.
Thank you.
Kiko Galbiati, if you like, taking the credit, because it was Vito Postiglione that did the time in order to take pole position. But Vito, who has been a very quick driver, but a bit unlucky in recent seasons, lining up there on pole position. Got to get your head around a new livery as well. We've had the familiar blue colours carried by Vito Postiglione for the last 3 seasons as a soloist, then with Jonathan Cecotto, and then last year with Carole Bash. This year, perhaps hoping, and we touched on this in a Blancpain session earlier on in the day, in fact, here at Silverstone, change your colour, change your luck. Well, go bright green, maybe fortunes will improve as well. Postiglione, who is overdue a championship win, but always seems to lose out at the very end of the season. So what can he do with a new co-driver in the very quick Kiko Galbiati, who came onto the scene really 3 years ago now, at the World Final in Valencia, and was instantly impressive, really was. And he will do the second stint in the car today. It is a 50-minute race, mandatory pit stop between 20 and 30 minutes. If you are on your own, you stop for 1 minute and 28 seconds, and if you've got 2 drivers, it's 1 minute and 25. Why the discrepancy? Well, you've got an advantage if you're doing the race on your own, because you know exactly what the car and track conditions are like when you go back into the race, whereas it will take the new driver, well, possibly more than 3 seconds at least, but anyway, some time to get fully cognizant of what the road and the car feels like. So just to try and balance that out, it's a little bit longer if you do the race on your own, that pit stop. We've talked already about Josef Zaruba starting second on the grid. His co-driver, Jakub Knoll, is on the grid with Dakota.
Jakub, now you're looking very cool, calm and collected. I've just had a word with your competitor starting on pole, and he's feeling pretty confident too. How are you going to get past him?
I think it's going to be tricky for us, especially for me, but I have a great teammate and I hope he will do a great job, and for me it's going to be about to finish.
What's the strategic here?
Joseph is a bit faster than me, so he will do most of the race, and then I will jump into the car for last 20 minutes and I will do my best in order to achieve some good result.
Are you going to be nervous to watch turn 1?
Yes, a little bit, yes, it's always like that, but it's racing, so everything can happen.
Good luck for your race, thank you.
Jakub Knoll, who did race in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo back in 2011. Of course, in those days, it was the Gallardo rather than the current Huracan Evo that we have, which debuted last year with that sort of shark fin, almost Formula 1-esque bodywork at the back. So he's got to get his head around a new car, but he will get quicker and quicker, no doubt, as the season goes on. Grid is busy with the teams, with the Lamborghini guests, all enjoying what's going to be not only a great sight, but a great sound as the cars are all unleashed. And of course, Lamborghini with a busy presence in the GT world, with lots of cars on the grid for the Blancpain GT Series Endurance Cup race that we have here later on in the weekend. Hans Fabry's car, 88. You can see there that starts on the 11th row of the grid. The one at the back, assuming it's there, is going to be Stefano Costatini, who had a problem in qualifying, didn't actually get a lap time in, but he is there on the grid. He's been allowed to start. So we should have the full complement of 23 cars, which include Tim Richards in the M-Tech car, starting at 19th on the grid. British interest will centre around the Bonaldi Motorsport car of the two Brits, Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew, a car that will start 4th on the grid, and it's Jack Bartholomew that will go first.
Jack, it's nice to see a Brit starting on the grid here at Silverstone. You probably know this track better than probably everyone else on this grid. Are you feeling confident?
Yeah, I'm feeling very confident for the race. We had a great package in qualifying. I think we both could have got even more out the car, which is really good. We're starting at the right end of the grid. Funnily enough, it's my first time here in 3 years, so actually some of these foreign guys will know the track better than me, but I think we've got a really competitive package and can't wait to get racing.
Let's hope of your success last year, it'll be a success this year.
Definitely, time to come and conquer Europe now.
I'll let you get conquering. Good luck.
Jack Bartholomew, Middle East Lamborghini Super Trofeo champion, and he's raced in the Asian. And now concentrating his efforts on Europe, because he's sort of dropped off the radar to a degree. So you either do well in Asia and find a career out there, or you need to come back to Europe and see what you can do. And he's coming back to Europe, and Jack, who raced successfully in the BRDC F4 Championship a few years back, now a very experienced Lamborghini, very successful Lamborghini racer, and with Stuart Middleton as his co-driver. New co-driver, Stuart has been British GT4 champion. He's raced in the European GT4 series, Ginetta Junior graduate, and he will do the second stint in that car that will go from 4th on the grid. So as we get through the race, we'll no doubt come across a number of new names, but also a number of familiar names. So it's another interesting entry that we've got for this opening round of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. Perhaps not quite as numerically large as in the past, but it's certainly good on talent, big on talent. And as ever, there is the Pro-Am, Am and Lamborghini Cup contests to keep an eye to. So you can come and find somebody to race against, no matter what level of experience or ability you have. But Vito Postiglione, who has been a very, very quick front runner, but a very unlucky driver for the last few seasons, he must be the man to watch in the first stint. There is Jack Bartholomew, all ready to go. Peering into a very dark cockpit, the way that the light shines through. The lead car is there, and it's time to have a walk up the grid, where the green car on pole position is that of Vito Postiglione. He will go first, and in the red, white and blue colours alongside it is Josef Zaruba, who starts in 66. For Bonaldi, newcomer to the championship, Danny Cruz is on the inside of row 2, and alongside him in the black car it is Jack Bartholomew for Bonaldi Motorsport. Then for Imperiali Racing, Bartosz Paziewski, new to the championship this year, and Niels Lagrange is lining up alongside in his Leipert run car on the outside of row 3. Row 4 is Mikko Eskelinen, the Finn, in the Mad Croc colours. 96 alongside is Raffaele Giannoni for Automobili Tricolore. Shota Abkazava in the blue car of Artline Team Georgia is next, and the white and green livery carried by Nicholas Gomar of AGS Events. Thomas Padovani is on the next row of the grid alongside Robert Svinga. On the 7th row of the grid, number 24 is Oliver Freimuth, former Porsche and Renault racer, and alongside him is Davide Venditti, who shares with the rapid Alberto Di Folco. Then it's Gregor Mochulski in the grey and orange car, and alongside him is Francois Semoulin. The next row of the grid, you find reigning Lamborghini Cup champion Gerard van der Horst and AM champion Joseph Collado. Behind them, there is Tim Richards, and alongside in sort of day-glow orange car, Superchai Wirabowampong out of the Asian Championship. Thomas Michinek is next in the red, white and blue colours. Alongside him is Hans Fabry, and at the back of the grid it is Stefano Costatini, runner-up in the AM class of the Blancpain Endurance Series a few years ago, and he will, after his dramas in qualifying, go from the back of the grid. That is how they line up. Grid is being cleared, and very shortly the cars will be released onto the warming up lap. With us say that pit window between 20 and 30 minutes. The Lamborghini Urus, the lead car, blasts away, and it rounds Cox Corner then. Very shortly, the green flag will be waved and we are good to go. Looking from the rear of the grid as the field accelerates away now. There is 55, Stefano Costatini, who should be one to watch, I would have thought, because he's doing the race on his own. He's a quick driver, and Costatini doesn't have to worry about a co-driver. He's an AM, but he's a good AM, if you like. He's an experienced AM, so he should make some progress. He's one to watch. Hans Fabry goes through, and Vito Postiglione, number 44, for the Imperiale Racing team, starting at the very front. Vito Postiglione, who has been, as I said, for a number of seasons, one of the front runners. There's not much that Vito hasn't raced. He won the opening round of the Italian GT Championship last weekend with Jeroen Mul. He's raced in Midjet, in Clios, in the World Touring Car Championship, in Lamborghini Super Trofeo. As I said, there's not much he's not raced in. If it's a touring car or a GT car, he's been there, and lost out last year to Giacomo Altway, lost out the year before to Dennis Lind. He's been an unlucky driver, even though he's always had good pace. Boris Spinelli and Mikael Grenier are also drivers that, going back to what was their year 17, in fact, just the year after Dennis Lind managed to beat him in the last round for the European title, which this year, as I said, will be decided in Jerez as part of that World Final weekend, which was an excellent weekend because you get all the drivers over to finish their regional championships, and then they go head-to-head over 2 days in the World Final. So you have the North American and the Asian and the Europeans all on track at the same time, and it's a great spectacle, excellent racing, and you start to get a good idea of exactly who's really good, because you get all of the drivers that have had a decent season going head-to-head, nowhere to hide, and it's always at a venue that's not part of a championship, so they've not raced there that year. It had been moved around a little bit in the World Final from Asia to America, then to Europe, and it seems to have stayed in Europe now. It'll be the 4th year in a row, but again at a venue that doesn't have a championship round, so you can't go testing, as it were. So the cars now make their way up towards Abbey. At the end of the lap, they'll get themselves into the side-by-side 2x2 formation, ready for the rolling start. All of these cars with the 5.2 litre engine. The Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Evo, and Vito Postiglione then for pole position starts to bring the field up towards Village. It's a long, long lap, of course, at Silverstone. It is over 5 kilometres long, very nearly 6, 5.9 kilometres, so it's a long lap, and they're still not done yet because this infield section brought in, what are we looking at, 10 years ago maybe, if not more. They will come through up towards the Loop, then Aintree, then down Wellington Straight, and then into Brooklands in front of the British Racing Drivers Club's building, and then on through Luffield up towards Woodcote, at which point they'll get themselves ready for the start of the race. Now they start to grid up side by side. Pirelli rubber, of course, they run on. What else would you expect from an Italian car? And then the field ready to go racing. 4 classes, all with their own private fights going on. And so Vito Postiglione from pole position will do the opening stint. Alongside him will be Josef Zaruba, ex-Radical and Formula Renault racer. On the second row of the grid, Danny Cruz, new to the championship, having raced in TCR, but a lot of Formula 4 racing, both in the North European, Russian and Baltic series, and also in Spain. So Cruz, new to this championship, though he is in the blue and white car, certainly one to watch, I think, to see how he can adapt against people, certainly Postiglione, who's the benchmark here. Vito knows these cars inside out. He's done many a mile round Silverstone as well in recent years, so he really does start as the favourite. But let's see whether it works that way for him as we are set to go racing. It's round 1 of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. The pace car then peels into the pit lane with the sun glinting off the bodywork. Vito Postiglione turns now into Woodcote Corner. Alongside him on the front of the grid is Josef Zaruba. On the second row of the grid, you've got Danny Cruz and then Jack Bartholomew, the Brit, in the largely black car, creeping into shot. There he is. Postiglione is about a length ahead. He accelerates away now because the lights have gone green. We're racing. Super Trofeo Europe for 2019 is go, and Vito Postiglione lead down towards Copse Corner. Danny Cruz tries to get up on the inside line to go ahead of Josef Zaruba. Out wide goes Jack Bartholomew, and as they run up towards the Beckett's S's for the first time, Postiglione is away and gone. Zaruba goes second, Cruz is third, and up into fourth place it is the next Imperiale racing car, that of Bartosz Paziewski. Through he goes. So that means that Bartholomew has dropped back a little bit after going wide at Copse. Onto Hanger Straight for the first time they run, and Vito Postiglione here is saying to build that lead early on in the race. Down they come, Postiglione ahead of Zaruba, but the gap is opening up already, a challenge being made there. Look on the inside line, Raffaele Giannoni tries to gain ground, actually ends up losing out, does he? Because side by side, down through Vale they go. Giannoni in the black car does indeed lose out. At the end of Vale, through on the inside line, goes number 12, so Shotaram Kazava, the Georgian driver, goes through. They're being forced out way, way wide, looks like Nicolas Gomar's car. So the race leader, Vito Postiglione, well clear as they come up through the right at Abbey for the first time of asking here. Zaruba runs second, Cruz in third. Brake hard, turn right through Village, up towards the loop, and then accelerate down onto Wellington Straight once again here. So up towards the end of lap one, Vito Postiglione, who was over a sec quicker in the first sector alone, aiming to try and annihilate the opposition on the lap of the race here. Jack Bartholomew coming under attack there, look, because he's got Niels Lagrange right up behind him, number 30, Niels Lagrange, crawling all over the back of him, looks for a gap on the inside at Luffield, and through he goes. Bartholomew went wide, left the door open. Niels Lagrange goes through as Postiglione leads at the end of lap one. Josef Zaruba is in second place, Danny Cruz is third. Fourth as they go through now, it is the car from the third row, Bartosz Paziewski. Fifth is Lagrange, down to sixth, then there he is Jack Bartholomew. Mikko Eskelinen is seventh, heading Pro-Am. In eighth is Shotaram Kazava, ninth Pro-Am Raffaele Giannoni, 10th is Nicolas Gomar. Postiglione led at the end of lap one by over 2 seconds, so he's aiming here to build as big a gap as quickly as he can. The man that's dropped to the back of the field is 22, which is the car of Kurt Wagner and Thomas Michanek. Getting a replay of the start here. Everybody accelerates off down towards Copse Corner.
77 that we saw moving ahead of Svinger.
Up towards the end of the lap, Postiglione it is that has the advantage here. Postiglione 2 seconds clear, and he's pulled out another 4 tenths in sector one alone, so just looking mighty. Leaders go through, up towards Abbey once more, and Postiglione pulling away. Zaruba is second, and Danny Cruz running in that third place. Now what can he do about the opposition ahead? Let's see. Battles rage on lower down as well. 26, they're going through the right at Abbey. That is François Samoulin. Meantime, Postiglione pulling away all the time. He's gained another 3 tenths in the middle sector on that lap, just getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Over the timing line goes the race leader. Battle is on still for 5th place. And as the cars go by, let's see whether the gap is going to go up yet further. It is between the top two. It's 2.8 seconds. Cruz is in 3rd place there. 32, Jack Bartholomew goes through Copse, 8.7 seconds. He is away from the race lead, but he's almost back on the tail of Niels Lagrange, going for that 5th place now. Mikko Eskelinen is next in the queue. Eskelinen running as the leader in Pro-Am. The leading Am is Shotaram Kazava. Kazava sharing with Harold Schlegelmilch here. Challenge made there, look, on the inside line. So that at Stowe corner is a hard charging Alcazaba trying to find a way through on the inside. Doesn't work, not yet at least. Way out wide there, coming out of club corner. That's going to be one of those occasions where the officials get excited about track limit abuse, isn't it? And it was number 30 that ran wide, Niels Lagrange, so Jack Bartholomew should be up the inside and go ahead of him, which he has done so. Jack Bartholomew gains back his 5th place. Raffaele Giannoni, also number 96, trying to squeeze up on the inside and gain places. And there's more mayhem coming out of Village that time. Some slow, some get sideways, some get forced up the curb, but there's one with a big problem. You can see a slow right down. And who is that? It's Lagrange, isn't it? So Niels Lagrange, having run wide out of club, has got a problem seemingly, and that car has lost all pace as they make that run down towards the end of Wellington Straight. So the order's going to be a bit jumbled in that mid-pack this time around. Vito Postiglione it is that goes through ahead. Josef Zaruba in 2nd spot. The gap is 3 seconds now. And then in 3rd place, Danny Cruz, it is Bartosz Padwiecki in 4th. With 5th and 6th now going to be Jack Bartholomew, and up into the top 6 should be Mikko Eskelinen, but no, Shota Abkazava in fact has done it. There's the replay of a slowing Niels Lagrange, and as others had to dart around him, so Abkazava also had already managed to find his way up past Giannoni. So Giannoni is 7th, Gomar is 8th, Mikko Eskelinen dropping back into 9th place, and Thomas Padovani is 10th. And into the pit lane comes Niels Lagrange. So the car running wide at club, then slowing, and into the pit lane he limps. Another one that's pitted is Stefano Costantini out from the back of the grid, who had gained a bit of ground, but he's also had a problem crawling into the pit road. Vito Postiglione then, the leader by 3 seconds. Great battle going on lower down the order here, including 77, which is Thomas Padovani, being attacked by Robert Zwinger and Davide Venditti. There is 55, Costatini, and Niels Lagrange looking a bit lost. Where do I go now? So Niels Lagrange trying to get away, and then he stops. To keep an eye on that, see whether he does rejoin or what's up in that pit stop. Number 9, bouncing wide over the curb, that is Davide Venditti, who shares with Alberto Di Folco, who is very, very rapid indeed, Di Folco, so he ought to be able to gain ground in the 2nd stint in that car. Pressure is on the slower co-driver in that opening stint not to lose too much time. Don't give a huge workload to your co-driver in that 2nd part of the race. It's no surprise to learn that Vito Postiglione has done the fastest lap. Being pushed backwards by the look of it is Niels Lagrange. Stefano Costatini is out of his car, so that looks like it's his race run. But what about Lagrange? Got away seemingly and then stopped. So maybe it's that problem again that suddenly struck and the car cut. Either way, the team have tried to get the car back and will work upon it to make it a test session if they can go out for tomorrow's race. A dive made there on the inside line. That's Venditti again, coming up to have a go at Robert Zwinger, and he goes through this time. Zwinger hung out to dry on the outside line. Robert Zwinger then loses out. Raced briefly in the championship last year. He's been in the Creventic long distance series. He's done a bit of VLN racing, but he loses a place there to Davide Venditti, the former Formula 4 Italy driver. Down through Cox Corner they turn. So Venditti battles with Zwinger, the two of them trading the place. And Vito Postiglione has an advantage of 3.4 seconds now over anybody else. Josef Zaruba is in 2nd spot, and we've got the first track limit warning, which is to Gregor Moczulski, who's up into 14th place now. Moczulski, who's been a regular in the AM contest over the last few seasons. Brake hard for Stowe, turn right, 77 in the thick of all of that. Thomas Padovani, his next target. He's involved with Eskelinen, he's trying to keep Venditti at bay. So lots of battles raging on here at the AM and Pro-Am end of the entry. And another challenge is made. Venditti up on the inside of Padovani. Padovani in the blue car on the inside for the approach to club. Venditti therefore gets forced out wide over the curb on the outside of the road. Tries to cut back in, but runs wider and slots back into the traffic, trying to keep Robert Zwinger at bay. 10 minutes done, 10 minutes before the pit window opens. So Postiglione, the race leader, as you look at the battle going on lower down here with 96, Raffaele Giannoni. Now he's in 7th place. He's got Nicola Gomar tucked up behind him. Gomar is another experienced Lamborghini Super Trofeo racer. And let's see what he can do on the run now down into the left at Brooklands. Into the braking area, under attack once more, 77 Thomas Padovani. But now that Davide Venditti has kind of sorted Padovani out, he's pulling away, isn't he? He's managing to extend the gap over that man, Robert Zwinger. Up towards the timing line, Vito Postiglione. The gap stabilising a bit now, 3.5 seconds. Last time around there was only a 10th between them, so although Postiglione does look the quicker, he's not scampered off into the distance any more than that 3.5 second mark. He will probably do a longer stint than will Galbiati, but we will see. And 9 minutes now to go before that pit window opens as the leaders flash through the Beckett Sessis. That brilliant sweep of the right, the right again, left through Chapel Curb onto Hanger Straight. Robert Zwinger running there in 12th place, number 99. So the leading Pro-Am, Shota Abkazava, 33 going through. Mikko Eskelinen, who is in the AM competition. He's partnered by Jake Rattenbury. Eskelinen, very experienced GT racer, done a lot of rallies, been racing in the Asian Championship the last couple of years, but he gets done for 9th by Venditti at the end of Vale. Davide Venditti goes through, picks up 9th place, and Venditti all of a sudden has kind of got either into a rhythm or got much happier with the way the car's behaving, because having been under attack, suddenly he's sorted out that attack and he's defended well and pulled away and he's gained places. So he's got himself into a really good place over the last couple of laps. And he's still hustling on as well. Venditti, who will give the car over to Alberto Di Folco, should therefore be able to look back on an even better result at the very end here. Vito Postiglione over the timing line, over the curb, has gone Thomas Padovani, meaning that Robert Zwinger comes up to have another go at him as they sprint now down into the end of Wellington Straight. We've just also had Bartosz Paziewski putting a wheel up onto the dirt. Paziewski, former Clio racer, but he gets away with it as you look at 99, which is Robert Zwinger in 12th place coming up into Luffield. There ahead of him still is Padovani, Thomas Padovani, number 77. So the race leaders go through, down into Copse Corner once again. Josef Zaruba is 3.9 seconds behind Postiglione. The gap is still extending, went up a bit more on that last lap. Danny Cruz there in 3rd place, keeping at bay newcomer to the championship in the circuit, Bartosz Paziewski, who's actually acquitting himself very well. These two are both newcomers, as is Josef Zaruba. They may have lost a chunk of time, but they're having a good fight between themselves. And then you start to look forward to what happens in the second stint and the relative pace of all of the co-drivers. Galbiati, the more experienced of the co-drivers, but even so, it'll be interesting. Karol Bash, who shone with Postiglione as the other driver last year, he will take over this car from fellow Pole Paziewski. Replay here of, well, I mentioned the dirt being kicked up by Paziewski coming out of Luffield, but apart from a bit of grime on the tyres, no real harm done. Didn't cost him too much time at all, that. So there is 8. That is Bartosz Paziewski going up now into the loop. So Postiglione is 3.9 seconds up on Zaruba. We're just over 5.5 minutes from that pit window opening, and now the teams have to decide when they want this driver in. Do they want him to stay out for as long as possible? If he's the quicker, then it makes sense. If it's the slower driver, get him in as soon as that window opens. The lead gap is going to be over 4 seconds potentially. Yep, 4.4. So Postiglione is still building that lead. Zaruba in 2nd place, and here Danny Cruz keeping Paziewski at bay. So Bartosz Paziewski up from 5th on the grid, not being able to close sufficiently to have a go, but Postiglione is there, the race leader, and looking mighty strong up front. out of the Beckett's S's, they sweep there. Danny Cruz going through in third. He will give way to Sergei Khanitiev, who has done quite a bit of Lamborghini racing, but also we've seen him in GT1 World Challenge events. We've seen him in International Formula Master, so Afanasiev will be one to watch for sure in the second stint. And Karol Bash will take over the fourth place, green number 8, and that is another car that should go well in that second part of the race. 89 through. Nicolas Gomart still chasing after Raffaele Giannone for the lead of the AM Cup, and those are both solo drivers, so in theory that battle should carry on the other side of the pit stops. Out of Stowe corner, down through Vale. And as they go out of club corner now, this little battle pack is starting to grow, isn't it? Because catching up onto the back of Gomart is Venditti. So the three of them are starting to get together, and they're very, very deep indeed. Goes Padovani. He's got past Eskilinen, but very nearly ran out of road. And he's off again, look, coming out of club. You get the first part wrong, you're always going to be wrong in the second part. So Padovani up to 10th, but very nearly coming to grief at club as he ran way out wide. So braking hard, going up through the left-hander of the loop here. And the pit window, as I say, is imminent. 2 retirements, Lagrange and Costatini. That means that now at the back of the field is the Thai driver, Supatai Weerawarapong. And he's another of those drivers in the Lamborghini Cup. For the real gentleman racers, less experienced racers. Eskilinen then, under pressure. So he's lost out to Padovani. Now Robin Zwinger comes up to have a go at the Finn, who, as I said early on, has been racing in the Asian Championship for the last couple of seasons. Back into Europe now. Up towards the timing line he will come. Second placed Zaruba into Stowe. Already long gone is Postiglione, and that means that 12 seconds is the margin first to third. And if anything on this lap, Bartosz Padziewski looks like he's coming back here, doesn't he, Danny Cruz? Nose to tail, Cruz and Padziewski. The gap right down at the end of Vale this time. Padziewski tries to tighten the line, but he can't really get near enough then. A slingshot up the inside. Evenly matched cars, of course, everybody with the same base car. Different teams operate them, yes, but everybody has the same machinery at their disposal. Down through, Abbey they turn again. This is lap number 9. And the pit window should be open at the end of the next lap. Josef Zaruba in second place, still losing touch with the flying Postiglione, who's built that lead now to 4.9 seconds. It's going to be even more at the end of this lap they're currently on. Out wide over the curb there runs Padziewski, trying to maintain the momentum, but he will be delayed as a consequence of that. Down they come through the left of Brooklands. Set the car up for the right of Luffield, and again Padziewski dives to the inside line. It always gives the impression this is more to try and unsettle Cruz than serious bids to overtake, because he's not trying in the obvious places, but if he can force a mistake out of Danny Cruz, that might just give him the opportunity that he requires. Out of Woodcote, break the beam over the line here. Now that's the race leader, that's Postiglione. Absolutely flying. He was always going to be the man to beat in this opening stint, and he's living up to his bill matter here. Josef Zaruba, new to the championship, second. Gap back, Cruz, Padziewski, new to the championship, third and fourth. Danny Cruz for the Bonaldi team, and then tucked up behind him for Imperiale Racing is this car of Bartosz Padziewski. Down they come into Stoke corner. There's not much to choose between them, as you can see. It's only about a length or two. But the pit window opening in 38 seconds time, so does that mean that either both of these will dive in at the end of the lap? Padziewski all of a sudden though has kind of got into a rhythm, hasn't he? And at the very, very end of the stint he is close enough to try to attack, but it's taken him a long time to get there. Granted, first race in the car, but chipped away. But he's giving Karol Bash quite a lot of work to do. 13, nearly 14 seconds worth of a margin to try to make up against the leading car, which will be handed over to Kiko Galbiati. Galbiati is no slouch. Jack Bartholomew fifth. It'll be interesting to see what his pace is like relative to Stuart Middleton. Stuart, who's made a name for himself in Ginettas in the past, coming into Lamborghinis now and running, as he will be, in 5th place. So the pit window open, as you see, and we've got a report of rain falling at turn 8. Turn 8 is the end of Vale. So that's going to make life even more interesting for the teams if there's an isolated spot of rain out on the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. Race leader down through Brooklands. There is Vito Postiglione, who accelerates into Woodcote Corner. He will come up and break the beam this time around. Through he goes. Stays out, of course, therefore, for another lap. Now, what about seconds? Aruba stays out, as was being predicted by Jakob Knoll at the start of the race. The gap's wide from 3rd to 4th because it's in for Bartosz Paziewski. Pit window is open, down the pit lane he comes. So there you can see the board being waved by the mechanics to say, this is where you've got to stop. We're here, we're waiting. And Bartosz Paziewski makes his way down the pit lane. So it's a new car, it's a new championship, but also this is the new discipline, having to do a driver change. And you've got to be, in this context, the one that parks properly, undoes all the cables and cords, get the belts sorted out for your co-driver, help strap him in. Now remember, this is a double driver entry, so the pit stop is 1 minute and 25 seconds, pit in, beam to pit out. Others that have come in include Shota Abkazava and Davide Venditti. So Shota Abkazava in. He will give way to the former Formula 3 and Formula 2 racer, Harold Schlegelmilch. Davide Venditti in early to give way. There it is, that black car to Alberto Di Folco. That's going to be one to watch, isn't it? And Nico Escalona is in to bail to give way to Jake Rattenbury. That's the leader now. Splendid isolation, Vito Postiglione. Through he turns, brakes hard, and then goes left at Village here. The run down towards the right-hander of Luffield to the end of the lap. But first of all, we've got to finish the pit stops here. Carol Bash now, the karting graduate, came into car racing last year, raced in the North American and European Championships, plus a bit of Italian GT, did the Middle East Series at the start of this year. But the man he drove with last year is the man he's going to have to try and chase after, Vito Postiglione, because there is the leader. Another lap is going to go in the book here. Postiglione out of Woodcote, up towards the timing line. The Italian goes through. Into Copse Corner. Got Jack Bartholomew, of course, having gained a place with the pit stops. So it's Postiglione, Zaruba. 3rd should be Cruz, and Bartholomew just going through the shot in 4th as we wait for the new 5th place car, and that should be Raffaele Giannoni on the pit stops. There in the pits is the Thai driver, Supachai Wiraborwampong, serving the mandatory pit stop. In the M-Tech car, Wiraborwampong ready to go as the second of the green cars, that of now Carol Bash, comes into stow. Down through Vale goes the Polish driver. So the order shuffling all the time as people pit. Car number 12 was Shota Abkazava, but it's now Harold Schlegelmilch, the Latvian driver, former Austrian Formula 3 champion. Very experienced, both in terms of single-seater racing and also a bit of rallying before he came into Lamborghini Super Trofeo as a gun for hire, really. So he takes over that car and will be a man to watch in Pro-Am. Postiglione, how many more laps? He's got 6 minutes. How many more laps will he stay out for? Let's see. Out of the loop into Aintree, speed building here. A little bit wide up the curve, rattles onto Wellington Straight and then comes into the left at Brooklands here. So Postiglione the leader, 5.9 seconds ahead of Josef Zaruba. It's not an insurmountable gap, but the people that will be doing the chasing against Kiko Galbiati, less experienced, certainly in the case of Jakob Knoll. So still think 44 is going to be in the box seat. The question is how rapidly can Carol Bash get up to pace in number 8 and start to hack into any sort of a deficit. Into the pit lane then will come out of the traffic the likes of Giannoni and Zwinger. Collado is in, Hans Fabry is in, Postiglione stays out for another lap, and is Josef Zaruba into the pit lane this time? No, he's done another lap and the gap is 6 seconds. 79 there is Jose Collado, last year's AM champ. And Karol Bash, interestingly, as you look at 22, which is brought in by Kurt Wagner, Karol Bash has just done an absolute best in the first sector. So he's a man on a mission, isn't he? That's for sure. That should now be Thomas Michanek who gets into the car. Vito Postiglione round Stowe corner. He's coming to the end of his stint, whereas Karol Bash fresh into the car, straight on the money, quicker than anybody in sector 1. So Postiglione to the end of Vale, turns left, then right into the first element of club corner here. Got no traffic around him, runs a bit wide out of club, it's got to be said, but Vito Postiglione trying to maintain the pace, but his first sector, 4/10 down on the absolute best of Karol Bash, so certainly the pace is not quite as good now as it was at the start of the race for him. Here he is, into view again, up towards the right-hander at Village, left at the loop. He's done the fastest lap as Postiglione, but can he stay there? Karol Bash, absolute best, obviously a personal best, but the car's personal best into the middle sector, and it could be on for a fastest lap of the race very early doors here. So Bash chasing Galbiati, who will take over this car. Heading into Brooklands, lap 13 for the leader Vito Postiglione. And he turns through that left-hander, sets it up, goes right now into Luffield, and there's drama because Jose Collado, he's only just left the pit lane, hasn't he? He's had a problem. That looks like it's at Stowe. Into the pit lane comes the leader, but Jose Collardo's got a problem out, as I say, I think it's at Stowe Corner on the far side of the circuit. He's off the road. So Kiko Galbiati ready to take over the leading car. Karol Bash did a 2 minutes 1.6 as against the best of Postiglione 2 minutes 1.5. So very, very good first flying lap in the car by Karol Bash. There is Vito Postiglione in, and it will be Kiko Galbiati in the green boots that will take over. Karol Bash on his next lap, another absolute best in the first sector. He is going to be well worth watching here. We'll see what the gap is as Vito Postiglione walks away. And confirmation it is at Stowe, where Jose Collado has stopped. Danny Cruz in to give way to Sergei Afanasiev. Afanasiev takes over as they're almost ready to go. It's 44. So Kiko Galbiati in the car. Vito Postiglione has done his bit and walked away. Very much. Once he's done, he's done. He doesn't really get involved with all the strapping in of his co-driver. Karol Bash here, pressing on. You see the way the car squirms underneath him as he came there out of Village into Aintree. Sergei Afanasiev is ready to go in number 3. And away now goes the leading car. So that will be Kiko Galbiati at the wheel. This is the opposition, really, number 8, coming up towards the exit of Luffield. So Karol Bash into a rhythm, in another absolute best in sector 1 on this lap. A little bit of time lost in sector 2. Comes into Woodcote, and as he makes his way up towards the timing line, ahead of him, there, look, is the car that was running in third place rather. Danny Cruz has given way to Sergei Afanasiev, so Bash has still got work to do. So it's Galbiati ahead now. Jakub Knoll is in second spot. Or is he? Because have we had a change on the pit stops? Let's just look. Which of the green Imperiale racing cars is that? That is Karol Bash. So yes, Bash is still behind, and it means that the leader is Kiko Galbiati, who will come on to Anchor Straight now. But Karol Bash, well into a stride, is about to gain a place and get himself up past Jakub Knoll. Now, where in all of this, therefore, is number 3? Has Afanasiev got back onto the road ahead or behind of number 8 in the hands of Karol Bash now? Jack Bartholomew, incidentally, yet to give way to Stuart Middleton, but that's imminent. Going a long way in this first race. So at the end of this lap, we'll start to piece together the new race order. 22 going through there, you can see, is the lapped car of Thomas Michanek, and behind him is there, number 3, Sergei Afanasiev. So he is down the order relative to Karol Bash in the green Imperiale racing car. Bartholomew led and is now pitted, so the order will sort itself out at the end of the next lap here, but Michanek is about to be lapped by a charging Afanasiev. So the race leader, 44, Kiko Galbiati, this is his outlap, so it's the next one that will start to give us a proper idea of pace. There is 32, so Jack Bartholomew in to give way now to Stuart Middleton. And up towards the timing line comes Kiko Galbiati. This will put him back into the lead. He goes through, keeping an eye out of the window to see where, first of all, Stuart Middleton will blend back in, but also what's going on for second and third and fourth places. Second is going to be number 8, Carol Bash goes through, and the gap between Galbiati and Bash is 10 seconds. Still a lot of real estate to make up that, especially as Bash has got a lot of traffic to try and work his way through. So still in the box seat is this car. Kiko Galbiati leads the way, swinging out of the Beckett's S's here. On to Hanger Straight. The work done by Vito Postiglione. Good work too, being carried over now by Kiko Galbiati, who, when he arrived on the scene in Lamborghini Super Trofeo a couple of years ago, was instantly impressive in the World Finals at Valencia. He's raced in Formula 4 and Italian GT as well, so an experienced driver is Galbiati. We never quite got to the bottom of what happened to Jose Collado, did we? But the car has not rejoined, so big disappointment from 3 laps ago for Collado. Here is Weirabor-Wampong coming under attack from, is that Hans Fabry, or is that, yes it is, 88, so that's been a change for 18th place. Pachai Weirabor-Wampong got up past him. 44 you're looking at, Kiko Galbiati then, who will confirm that he's the race leader when he breaks the beam at the end of this lap. But where, in terms of sector pace, is Bash? He's lost a lot in sector 1 in the traffic, Carol Bash, so it's still looking as though the lead's going to increase for this car. Down towards the end of Wellington Straight now comes Kiko Galbiati. Brakes, turns in. Three turns. And now around the long right-hander of Luffield. We've got a yellow flag being shown, and the safety car is being deployed. That is brilliant news for Carol Bash. Absolutely what he needed. Suddenly brings him back into the game. The safety car is being deployed. Now, why is that? Is it for 79 over at Stowe Corner? We haven't seen anything else, have we? So, safety car deployed. And there it is, picking up the race leader, letting the traffic go. Safety car on track. Bad news in a sense for Galbiati, because it means that everybody now will catch him up. Just need to see how many back markers. There's certainly one between him and Carol Bash, but from 13 seconds, Bash is going to be much, much closer. That has to be the only reason for the safety car. It's been there for about 3 laps, but now the race director has decided that it needs shifting. And so it always makes you wonder, doesn't it? If it needs shifting, it needed shifting there and then, not 3 laps in. But anyway, now the decision has been taken. Maybe this is because the pit window is closed and therefore it's not going to affect pit stop. So you get the window done and then you get the safety car out. The snatch vehicle is quickly on the scene to get Jose Collado's car out of the way. And therefore it should not be a long safety car period. So the officials are there, and that's the reason that it came to grief, because there's either a tyre or a wheel off the car, and it was just after a pit stop. Now, did they change a wheel which therefore came off the car, or was it purely coincidence that it had had a pit stop and then a breakage that caused the wheel to come off? Either way, it's not the work of the moment to move it if it's only got 3 wheels. So the safety car is deployed, and all of this eating into, of course, these last, what have we got, 16 minutes of the race. Down through Abbey they turn. Lap 16 we're currently on.
Remaining.
96 you're looking at Raffaele Giannoni, who is 9th overall. The car ahead of Nicolas Gomar is the nearest target as far as the AM contest is concerned. The team manager of number 79, Jose Collado's car, is being summoned to race control immediately. So there is the car in question. They might want a word about whatever happened in the pit stop that perhaps did cause this wheel to come off. Either way, the Silverstone recovery team is ready to get Colado's new three-wheeler out of harm's way, and then as soon as we can get the race back up and running. But the lights are on top of the safety car, and they will remain so until the race director is happy to release the field again. So over the line they have poured, and the race order is Galbiati leading Bash with one back marker. Was it not between the two leading cars? There it is. In third place is Sergei Afanasiev. In fourth place is now Jakob Noll. Stuart Middleton is fifth, so Noll is the one that's lost out. 2 places lost, in fact, from the first into the second. Stuart Middleton is fifth. Harold Schlegelmilch in for Shotrab Kazava is now in sixth and leading Pro-Am, but only just ahead of Alberto Di Folco, so that's another battle to look for on the restart of the race. Schlegelmilch and Di Folco. Eighth is Nicholas Gomar leading the AMs from Giannone, and then Jake Rattenbury, who has taken over in 10th place now from Mikko Escalinen. The leading Lamborghini Cup driver is Benoit Semoulin, 15th ahead of the reigning Lamborghini Cup champion Gerard van der Horst, and then Tim Richards third in the class. At the very back of the queue, hustling on to try and play catch-up, is Semoulin. I think he was the one that was released, and he's now trying to catch the queue of cars. So, as I say, the safety car remaining out. And we should be good to go racing fairly swiftly. Through they pour. Into the left at the end of Vale. And there you've got 88, which is Hans Fabry, 19. That's a lap down, that car. So everybody now jinking around, generating a bit of warmth and a bit of pressure into the tyres, perhaps thinking about the restart. 12 minutes and what have we got, 36 seconds still to run. Are we clear at Stowe? Is that snatch vehicle out of the way? Not quite, not quite. So still might be good to let them go at the end of this lap, or it might be they need one more just to be secure. Through they turn, out of the left of Aintree. Lights flash atop the safety car into the braking zone for Brooklands. It will come, so Kiko Galbiati still leads the way. From his point of view, the fewer laps, the better. Lights are off, so a pretty late call, but the lights do go out on the safety car, and so we're good to go racing this time as into the pit lane peels the safety car, and the real question is how long it's going to take Karol Bash to get past the lapped car just up the road ahead of him. It's Tim Richards' car that he's going to get past. He's on his toes straight away. Bash to the inside line, down towards Copse Corner. Job is done. So now Galbiati versus Bash. That safety car has brought the pole very much into the mix. 11.5 minutes on the clock. We are racing now, and the margin was 0.6 of a second. Can Galbiati get away? The Imperiali Racing twins, then the two green cars go through the Beckett's S's. Third, look, Afanasiev in fourth place, and we had a change. I think we have. Middleton's got himself up ahead of Jakob Noll by the look of it. Onto Hanger Straight come the two race leaders. Focus on those for a moment, because the way here that Karol Bash is going, we'll know at the end of the first sector what kind of pace he's got. Heading into the end of sector one, he's quicker in a straight line, but he lost a little bit in the sector because of having to do the overtaking. So Karol Bash, who was chomping into that margin anyway, tries now to close at the end of Vale, which he does. Turns left, turns right from Vale to Club. That long, almost two-part right-hander. And Galbiati's car looking the more nervous there, as he had to have a real second bite at the corner. Past the wing they pour now. And there is Karol Bash in that second place. So a multiple race winner last year when he shared with Vito Postiglione, who looks on to see his new co-driver Kiko Galbiati being reeled in. Bash closing right up, going up towards the right at Village now. So the two of them, the two teammates for Imperiali Racing, come out of Aintree, heading on to Wellington Straight with 10 minutes on the clock, a fifth of the race still to go. And is Bash, yes he is, using more of the road. He's certainly got the pace, he's got the momentum, and he's chomping away, eating into this gap yet again. Down to the end of Wellington Straight, he's not quite close enough to have a go there, but it's looking a bit inevitable now as far as this is concerned that he will be able to make a move. So the green car with the orange flashes on it, that of Carol Bash, right there on the tail of Galbiati, Kiko Galbiati. Romanian-born Italian driver comes up through Woodcote, heading up towards the timing line once more. 9.5 on the clock, down towards Cops Corner, the gap, 0.4 of a second. Can Galbiati soak up this pressure to the end? Stuart Middleton is up to third at the expense of Sergei Afanasiev. Fifth is Alberto Di Folco, sixth is Schlegelmilch. Jakob Noll in the car that was running second for the first part of the race, dropping down the order. So there is still 44 Galbiati hanging on to the race lead. Carol Bash trying to apply the pressure now. It's not easy to overtake in these cars when you are so evenly matched. So where does he make his move? Postiglione still has the fastest lap of the race from early on, but Carol Bash now looking to try and find a way to unsettle the current race leader. Down they come into Stowe, brake hard, turn into the right-hander. Down through Vale. Is Bash going to be able to dive up the inside? Not there, he's not, but he does close a little bit more under braking. Kiko Galbiati turns his way into that right-hander of Club Corner. He's on the power once again, trying to sprint out of the corner, see if he can build the gap over Carol Bash, who uses all of the curb, all of the road, all of the width available to him to maintain the momentum. Into Abbey they come once again, the noses dip as they brake, they flip right, left out of Farm, and then up towards Village once again. Lead battle with 8 minutes to go. Kiko Galbiati leads, both of them wide this time out of Aintree. Second place, chasing after him, Carol Bash. Sector 1, Bash was quicker. Sector 2, Galbiati was quicker. Nothing really gained nor lost between the two of them then over the lap. Thus far, there's drama up at the loop, though, because somebody has arrived backwards and somebody else has got damage. Now, is that Padovani? Yes, I think it is, number 77, or the car that he started, given to Stephen Licorice, number 77, the Artline Team Georgia entry. Flames licking the back of the car as Stephen Licorice, the former Mini and Porsche UK racer, tries to get going again. While the race leaders are busy squabbling, though, we've got now Stuart Middleton lapping quicker than the two ahead of him. Stuart Middleton in third place is 3.5 seconds away from Carol Bash, and if they carry on squabbling, he might get up with them. That safety car certainly helped him. So it's Galbiati, Bash, and then Stuart Middleton, another newcomer to Lamborghini Super Trofeo. There he is, running in third place. Now we saw a moment ago Stephen Licorice spinning a car that got tangled up with him that has just come down the pit lane. Reveals itself as Robert Zwinger, so that was the other casualty in that incident. The leaders are going down through Vale, and this time in Sector 1, Middleton is the quickest of the three leading drivers. Let's see what they do at the end of the middle sector when they go down Wellington Straight, but Carol Bash is not actually staying on the tail of the leader on this lap, is he? Out of club, way wide though goes Galbiati there. Gets it back onto the line and up now towards Abbey. At Village, under braking, Carol Bash closes right up once again, so did lose out a little bit at the first third of the lap. Here in this middle sector, he's brought the gap down again. Possibly getting the hurry up on the radio now, because if the team are able to advise him of the pace of Stuart Middleton, they will need to. 6 minutes to go, which is about 3 more laps. Down they come into Brooklands. Bash not yet looking as though he's going to make a move on this lap against Galbiati. Stuart Middleton then in Sector 2, a little bit slower in fact, lost a bit of ground against the two green cars ahead of him. They turn, the leaders then separated last time by 0.4. This time the margin reveals itself as half a second, so a little bit further back, but you're talking fractions of a second. Carol Bash there in second spot, runs wide at Copse now. There's more and more of this running wide as the race goes on. That gives him a good exit from Copse though, but the officials might not like that as he goes into the Beckett's S's now. 5 minutes on the clock. So can Kiko Galbiati hang on in there? Towards Stoke corner they come once again. Brake hard, turn into the right at Stowe. There in third place is Stuart Middleton. He's doing his level best to get onto terms with them. In the first sector, he is quicker again than the two ahead of him. So 4.2 seconds is first to third. Galbiati not able to storm away into the end of Vale. They come towards club corner. Middleton remaining the man to watch. Look at him go. A Lamborghini Huracan, very different from a Ginetta G55 that he's been racing for the last couple of years in British and then European GT4 events. But he comes out of club corner seeing the two green cars ahead of him. Up through Abbey goes Stuart Middleton, the LBC Rising Star, and looking good up front in this car shared by Jack Bartholomew. Now what about Carol Bash? On this lap he's going to have a go on the inside, and contact inevitably comes into the side of his teammate. Goes Carol Bash. Stuart Middleton gets second, but he's about to get the race lead because Bash has damaged his own car, and Stuart Middleton comes through to take over the lead of the race. You can see the smoke pouring off the tyre as bodywork rubs for Carol Bash, who's lived up to his name there, and that, I'm afraid, has gone against Kiko Galbiati. That it was just not on. You could see how far back he was, and by the time he got there, he was inevitably going to have the car ahead of him turning across. Look, he's already turning. Bash has only gone halfway up alongside. It was not on. And round goes Kiko Galbiati, and Carol Bash is delayed. He does get going, but then he realises that bodywork's fouling against the tyre, and through into the lead comes Stuart Middleton then. So three different leaders in a lap. Middleton is leading from Alberto Di Folco, who is lapping quicker than he is. Bash is into the pit lane, and if I were him, I'd go and take refuge, because when Kiko Galbiati gets back to the pit lane, I don't think they're going to be discussing Brexit, are they? They are going to be daggers drawn after all of that. There is Carol Bash's car in the pit lane with the Bash bodywork, and he may not even be getting going again. The incident's under investigation, but Stuart Middleton is leading the way. I'm racking my brains for the last British winner in Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Down through Vale in a moment will come Stuart Middleton. Jack Bartholomew with him. It's going to be a good result, this, for the two Brits to win outright. We've had British wins in Asia or Middle East, but in Europe, not had that many, I can't remember. So down the pit road does now go Carol Bash, but he is not going to be popular because he's taken the hopes of two cars effectively out of the race. Galbiati went over the line in 6th. So it's Middleton, Di Folco, Afanasieff leading this, second in class, ahead of Schlegel-Milk. Carol Bash was 5th, but then pitted. So Galbiati, in real terms, is 5th now. Alberto Di Folco 2nd is the man leading in Pro-Am, just to clarify that, as you look at number 12, Harold Schlegel-Milk, who is 2nd in Pro-Am. But it's bad enough ruining your own race, but ruining your teammates at the same time, that's not going to go down well. Carol Bash, who'd seen an opportunity, seized it, but it was just not on. And Vito Posiglione has the consolation of the fastest lap of the race, but he'll be very, very annoyed indeed. So there, number 3, Sergio Afanasieff keeping Harold Schlegel-Milk at bay. Up towards Luffield they come. We've got a minute and a half on the clock. So the race leader, Stuart Middleton, coming over the timing line now, goes on to his last lap. 2nd and 3rd, Di Folco, Afanasieff, Schlegel-Milk. Lead gap 2.8 seconds. Again, that last lap through, Di Folco quicker than the overall race leader, but I don't think he's going to get there in time, is he? Cops goes Nico Gomar. Gomar, who is the leader of the AM Cup. And 77, Stephen Licorice, being given a 10-second penalty at the end of the race, which I assume is for the incident up at the loop. He came off worse, but Robert Svinger's car ended up in the pit lane, so you could argue that was worse, even though that continued away from the scene of the crime. Stephen Licorice is being given the 10-second penalty. He is still circulating, so the penalty goes against him. Stuart Middleton, though, is the race leader, and he comes out of club corner Alberto Di Falco is still chasing after him, but the gap widened, and there's another penalty being given, interestingly, to Kiko Galbiati. Galbiati, a 10-second penalty at the end of the race. So Kiko Galbiati is adjudged to have cut across, rather than it being Karol Bash that was the aggressor, and Galbiati being given a 10-second penalty at the end of the race. So that's going to drop him further down from that 5th place where he currently is. So Stuart Middleton, the British driver, Jack Bartholomew, the man that did the first stint, looking good here for the race win. As down through Brooklands comes Stuart Middleton, then accelerates into the right-hander of Lafayette. For the last time, the Bonaldi Motorsport car is going to win outright. And through he will come, Stuart Middleton, with Jack Bartholomew to win the opening round of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe here at Silverstone. The 2 Brits win at the home of British Motor Racing. Alberto Di Falco and Davide Venditti will be 2nd, Sergio Afanassieff and Danny Cruz 3rd, and Harold Schlegelmilch and Shota Abkazova will be 4th, with Kiko Galbiati set to be 5th on the road. But then that 10-second penalty applied is going to drop him a long way down the order. Nicholas Gomar from Raffaele Giannone for the top 2 in the AM contest, but Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew come out on top at Silverstone in the end by 2.8 seconds. But Kiko Galbiati, as I say, I had thought he had been the one tapped into the spin. The officials reckon he chopped across, so he gets a 10-second penalty. Here, coming through lower down, is former Caterham racer Jean-Marc Littmann, and behind him is Oliver Freimuth. There's also Benoit Semonin coming over the line. That's to be 10th, 11th and 12th, those 3 cars pouring through. The Lamborghini Cup in that race won by Semonin, the 2 brothers, Benoit and Francois Semonin, from Gerard van der Horst and then Tim Richards to be the 3rd of the Lamborghini Cup drivers home. But for the pro class, Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew take the win. Sergio Afanassieff and Danny Cruz 2nd, Kiko Galbiati and Vito Postiglione are 3rd. Not amused, far from it. So penalties for 77 Stephen Licorice, but 44 Kiko Galbiati as well. But a great drive by Stuart Middleton. He was catching the leaders anyway, but it just fell into his lap, didn't it, with the contact that was here a few laps from home. Up the inside went Karol Bash. Kiko Galbiati given that penalty, but it must have been rather harsh there. That won't get the drivers to Parc Fermé. Jack Bartholomew was confident before the race started. Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton win race 1 of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe here at Silverstone from Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Falco, who are quite a long way back on the grid, but came up to 2nd with Danny Cruz and Sergio Afanassieff for 3rd. Shota Abkazova, Harold Schlegelmilch 4th, ahead of the penalised car of Kiko Galbiati and Vito Postiglione, 10 seconds. I don't think actually doing it much harm in the end. 6th going to Nicholas Gomar to win the AMS ahead of Raffaele Giannone. Then the shared Jake Rattenberg, Nico Escalanen car from Jakob Nord and Josef Zaruba that ran 2nd in the first stint, ended up 9th, and 10th Jean-Marc Littmann and his co-driver Gregor Mochulski. Lower down you see those that had trouble. Costatini, Niels Lagrange we lost, Jose Collado with only 3 wheels, Robert Zvinga with contact and damage. So a fair amount of conversation to be had, I think, amongst the teams at the end of this opening round of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. There is Stuart Middleton into the pit lane, and he will step from the car. Yeah. Very happy man indeed. Not a bad debut with Super Trofeo. Needs to unplug himself, but he does that. And will then go and find Jack Bartholomew, who says, well done, good job. And the celebrations get underway. So former Middle East champion is Jack Bartholomew, but now
good. I need to try and find something.
a winner in Europe
tomorrow. But I mean, pace was good, and then that just fell to us really. Yeah.
And Jack saying, as you can hear, the pace was good, but that fell to us really. Well, it certainly did. Absolutely no question about it. So Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew win thanks to the 2 teammates tangling and putting themselves in strife. So Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew win race 1 of Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe at Silverstone They are with Dakota.
Jack's just left. Let's turn the camera around. Jack's over here taking a photo. Guys, congratulations, what an epic race that was. I bet you guys were not expecting that finish.
No, bit of a steady start. I struggled a little bit in my stint, but just tried to stay out of trouble, as you always do, because things like that can always happen. So half the job is just keeping your nose clean, and then, you know, hand over to Stuart, and he just did the job, did some consistent laps, and then everything unfolded around us. You know, what more can you ask for to start the season like that?
Was it worrying watching him?
It's always worrying when you're watching your car and you're not in it, but, you know, I've got a lot of faith in him. He knows what he's doing, so, yeah, you know, it's a great job.
Stuart, absolutely great job. 4th position to 1st. What a fantastic race.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I couldn't really ask for any more there. Obviously coming from, I don't know, about 6th for drop 2. Yeah, so work our way back up and yeah, take the win. It's just awesome. So yeah, I couldn't really ask for a better start of the season. So, yeah.
Confidence for the second race?
Yeah, feeling good obviously. You know, win puts us in good stead, you know, everybody's happy. So yeah, we'll see what we can do going forward and pick up a bit more pace again.
Let's see what you guys can do. Congratulations for today.
So an excellent drive that by Stuart Middleton. Great pace in the second stint. And he and Jack Bartholomew posing for the cameras. And Jack Bartholomew, it's good to have him back in Europe. We've not exactly lost him over to the Middle East Championship, but it's good that he's back in Europe and going so strongly as well. So there'll be quite a lot of discussion, I'm sure, amongst the Imperiale Racing squad about why they lost a 1-2 finish, but it was fairly obvious contact between the two cars. And there the drivers down in Parc Fermé, and they will be up to the podium shortly. We might be able to hear from Alberto Di Falco and Davide Venditti, because well, it looks like Dakota is rounding them all up down there. And then Sergio Afanasiev and newcomer Danny Cruz taking 3rd place at the end of this opening round of Super Trofeo Europe for 2019. Next stop for the championship after tomorrow's race will be to Misano and then Zandvoort before we have them back on the endurance bill at Spa at the end of July. Second then, and a class win also to Alberto Di Falco and Davide Venditti.
Guys, congratulations. 1st in Pro-Am and 2nd in the race. I bet your hearts can finally just take a rest.
Thank you. Good work for the team, for the pilot. He is fly in the last part of the race.
Molto veloce, very quick. Are you happy with your race?
Yeah, very happy also because after 4 years not driving this car, it's very nice to be already in the podium. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy for the stint of my teammate, and I'm very happy of the good job of all the team that gave us a very good car. So thank you everybody, and we hope to do the same tomorrow.
Yes.
The same tomorrow, guys. Congratulations.
So the drivers up towards the podium, and 3rd place, newcomer Danny Cruz and Sergio Afanasiev, who we might be able to grab a word with as the podium is being assembled, being made ready, and the drivers heading up. I think the race officials are quite keen to get on with the podium because the track is needed and the pit lane is needed to be cleared, ready for the next activity. So let's have a look at the highlights of race 1. It began with Vito Postiglione storming away from pole position. He led all the way through the opening stint. He was 2 seconds clear within the first lap of the race, whereas it was an earlier pit stop from Bartosz Pawliecki to give way to his co-driver Karol Bash. Postiglione came in to give way to Kiko Galbiati, and they rejoined in the lead. Jack Bartholomew gave the car over to Stuart Middleton, and in the second stint, although we had a safety car, it was all about the Galbiati car being caught by Karol Bash, the two teammates. The gap came down and down and down until eventually there was the contact going up through the left-hander of the loop, and that put Stuart Middleton into the lead and a win to celebrate with co-driver Jack Bartholomew. So there the podium is almost ready, and it will be Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew for the top step at the end of this opening round here at Silverstone. So as we have there the podium ready, hopefully we can get the drivers up there in time, but you've got to get the top 3 from 4 classes, 2 drivers in most cases, and get all the trophies and everything ready. So as I say, hopefully we'll be good, but very shortly the circuit's going to go live with GT cars. Marshals have just been out on track making sure the road is clear. So as soon as possible, the podium will be underway. And the overall top 3 teams will be brought forward, which means the winners, Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton. But the third place drivers, Danny Cruz and Sergei Afanasiev, come forward. First of all, Danny Cruz new to the series, so a great opening weekend. The Russian driver Sergei Afanasiev with him to second place. Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Falco all smiles because they're also the Pro-Am winners. Maurizio Reggiani, the R&D director of Lamborghini, just to the side of the podium you saw there. As Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton, 2 Brits, win at the home of British Motor Racing. They stand on the top step of the podium, victors in round 1 for the Italian Bonaldi Motorsport team. So for the 2 British drivers then, the celebrations are about to get underway. The Italian national anthem played because it's for the winning team, and there Maurizio Reggiani from Automobili Lamborghini hands over the trophy to Danny Cruz. Good debut, a podium with Sergei Afanasiev becoming a regular now in this championship is Sergei. Then for second place and a Pro-Am win, Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Falco. And bear in mind that that was a car that started 14th on the grid, so it wins its class and gets second overall. But to Jack Bartholomew and to British Racing Drivers Club rising star Stuart Middleton, we have the winners' trophies and 2 very happy drivers indeed. There's also, not just from Lamborghini, but also from Pirelli, trophies to the winners. And so Jack and Stuart get the winners' trophy courtesy of Pirelli. And a great result for the Bonaldi team. It came out of nowhere, really, didn't it? With Imperiale Racing having been running 1-2, but then right at the very end, bang, contact between the teammates. Everybody huddles together, the overall podium top 3 here at Silverstone, and we look forward to more drama in the championship tomorrow. And it's going to be from, of course, a different grid set by the other driver. So the one that did the grid setting time for today, it'll be the co-driver for tomorrow. So it's a Stuart Middleton time, for example, rather than a Jack Bartholomew time in the Bonaldi car that's been today's winner. So are they going to spray? Are they going to keep the champagne? They're going to keep and dutifully file off the podium at the end of round 1 of Super Trofeo Europe with Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton, the winners here at Silverstone today.